to a new edition of Africa Today, and in this edition of the program we will review some stories from the African continent, and we start from Egypt as agreements have been signed between Vaxera and Chinese company Sinovac Biotech and Russia's direct investment fund to manufacture vaccines in Egypt. In the case, if Chinese vaccine Sinovac will provide technical support and assistance to Vaxera in building and equipping manufacturing facilities to meet the required standards. Details in this report.
The Egyptian Drug Authority EDA has authorized the emergency use of China's CoronaVac. Mahmoud Yassin, who is the EDA's head of Central Administration for Biological and Innovative Products, said that the license was given after the vaccine had passed through the authority's assessment and evaluation process, while also following local and international rules to ensure the jab's effectiveness and quality. Emergency EDA licenses were previously granted to the Sinopharm, AstraZeneca, Sputnik V, and ASD 1222 vaccines. Last week, Egypt signed 2 agreements with China's Sinovac, allowing it to have local manufacturing rights. The agreements have been signed between the Egyptian Holding Company for Biological Products and Vaccines, Vaxera, and the Chinese company Sinovac Biotech for biopharmaceuticals to manufacture the coronavirus vaccine in Egypt. A specialist in the manufacture of vaccines in Egypt said the plan is to take advantage of the vaccine developed by the Chinese company Sinovac, a leader in research, development, production, and marketing in pharmaceutical preparations, and exchange experiences to support Vaxera. Officials said the first agreement concerns the manufacturing technology for the coronavirus vaccine. Under this deal, the Chinese company Sinovac gives Vaxera a limited license to use manufacturing technology and technical knowledge for the purpose of manufacturing the local final product of the COVID-19 vaccine in Vaxera's manufacturing sites inside Egypt, using the ready-made product of the vaccine provided by Sinovac. This agreement also stipulates that the Chinese company will provide Vaxera with all technical information related to the vaccine and provide technical assistance. The second agreement relates to the local manufacture of the COVID-19 vaccine. It provides for the Chinese company Sinovac to grant a permit to Vaxera to refill, package, and manufacture the local final product of the COVID-19 vaccine in Vaxera's own facilities. It provides for Vaxera obtaining regulatory approvals, manufacturing technology, and technical knowledge for the use of the ready-to-fill product provided by Sinovac. Meanwhile, the Russian Direct Investment Fund also announced an agreement with Egyptian firm Minopharm to produce more than 40 million doses of Sputnik V. Minopharm and its Berlin-based subsidiary Prio Biogen AG and the RDIF plan to begin the technology transfer for the immediate manufacturing of the vaccine, with the rollout expected in the third quarter of 2021. The statement said the Russian vaccine has been registered in 61 countries globally to cover more than 3 billion people.
And to shed more light on recent developments related to coronavirus in Egypt and the African continent, we are joined over the phone by Dr. Magdi Adli, head of Pharmacist Inspection Unit, Health Insurance Authority. Good afternoon, Dr. Magdi.
Good afternoon. How is your day?
Great, sir. So let's talk about COVID-19 developments in Africa with regards to numbers in comparison to other continents during the third wave, as we can see that there is a decrease in numbers in the African continent. So how do you see this?
First of all, I'd like to thank proudly the efforts of Egyptian government and the Ministry of Health and Prime Minister the Prime Minister of Egypt, because of the effort they do. And for your question, why Africa have lesser number than other countries? Africa have a certain weather different than the others, and at the same time, the number of crowded area is not like others.
Yes.
We see now in India having a lot of places which having a crowded areas, and that virus need a crowded areas to be more spread. But in Africa, there is a social distance between people,
Yes.
and no more towns crowded of people. That affects positively for stop the spread of coronavirus.
Yes.
And,
Yes, sir. Yes, I was going to ask you about China's coronavirus Sinovac, China's coronavac, the vaccine which will be used in Egypt in the coming weeks. So, how do you see this step? The emergency use, yes.
Last few days, a great effort from Ministry of Health and the presence of Prime Minister have two coordination or cooperation agreement with two of the greatest country in the world ever, which they are Republic of China and Russia as well. The agreement through Sinovac company from the Chinese side and Vaxera, national Egyptian company of vaccine, for not only import the ready-made vaccine, but also for transfer the technology of manufacturing vaccine in Egypt to cover all population, and this will be exported to our brothers, our African brother countries, and our Arabic brother countries.
So, yes, sir. Do you believe that Egypt will be a hub for manufacturing vaccines and exporting them to African continent, African countries?
That's right. And they agree for a production like 40 million doses in that year, and that number will increase year by year.
Yes.
And by the way, the Russian vaccine, which is
Sputnik, yes.
Sputnik 5,
Yes, Sputnik.
have the registration here and has registered here in Egypt in Drug Supreme Authority, and will be produced also in Egypt to reach to like 100 million doses yearly. That will be enough for vaccinating all Egyptians and for export they exist to other countries. And by the way, WHO, I'd like to say something very important for people who are hesitated right now for taking a vaccine. WHO recommended that when you find the vaccine, you're supposed to take it directly, and you will be lucky. There is suffering to get vaccine all over the world, by the way. Getting vaccine is not an easy job. As the Ministry of Health, Dr. Hala Said said, like 85% of vaccines go to like 12 countries only. 50 of these quantities go to 2 countries only.
Yes.
So many countries in the world suffering to get vaccine. And we do our efforts to make availability for vaccine in Egypt, so that you're supposed to hurry to take vaccine. And the vaccine will be a necessary next days because of which called health code. Health code will be important and essential for many issues, like if you for traveling, for getting a job for many purposes. And I'd like to add, Dr. Hassan Said said that 100% of the workers in the field of tour have been vaccinated already.
Yes.
To increase and encourage the tour to come to Egypt.
So, sir, what is your message to people who are still hesitating and they are still thinking whether to take the vaccine or not?
I advise them, all vaccines, by the way, are safe. And maybe they are different in the percent of efficacy, but it's still safe and stop the progress of the severe symptoms, which is the main reason for make collapse of health system in countries. So, especially for the vulnerable people, like medical teams and elderly people and people who are having chronic diseases. These people are supposed to go fast and get vaccine once available.
So, sir, there are
yes.
some people here claims that maybe the vaccine will have bad impacts in the future. We don't know. Can you tell us more about these claims, how true it is?
Look, this is not a scientific speech. Scientific is scientifically there is side effect of vaccines, yes, but not like these people that are think.
Yes.
Maybe rise in temperature for 1 or 2 days, maybe redness in the site of injection, but not like.
And on the long run, there is no. Yes.
There is no bad and harmful side effect.
Yes.
And if some vaccines, like they published, make a coagulation of blood. It's 1 case per million.
Yes.
You imagine 1 case per million. That case may get coagulated without vaccine even.
Okay. Yes.
So no doubt, and people supposed not to be hesitated to take vaccine.
Okay, finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Magdi Adli, Head of the Pharmacist Inspection Unit, Health Insurance Authority. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And back to our program. And we have some stories from the African continent as Cairo announced the launch of a project to establish the biggest sports center in Tanzania, marking the first step towards building similar facilities in Africa. Details follow.
He said sports facilities will be launched by Egypt and African countries. Ashraf Sobhi said the move underscores Cairo's distinguished and brotherly relations with African nations as the country aims to further strengthen those ties. He said the Egyptian project, which will later extend to many African countries, will be carried out in collaboration with iFriend Sport firm. Speaking at a news conference, he said this cooperation comes in the framework of the political leadership's interest in bolstering relations with African countries in various fields, the most important of which is sports. Sobhi said it also comes to encourage the private sector and Egyptian businessmen to explore investment opportunities in a way that serves the common interests of African countries. He also said Tanzania should be the launching pad for the project, as Cairo seeks to build sports academies in several African countries. The sports center that Cairo plans to establish in the East African country will include football training grounds, indoor courts for basketball, handball and volleyball, as well as an Olympic-sized swimming pool and a tennis court. It will also feature gymnasiums and medical clinics. iFriend Sports Chairman Amr Mustafa Kamel said the purpose of establishing such sports centers is to strengthen the Egyptian presence in Africa as a soft power, especially that Tanzania is one of the most important African countries. He said they are also expecting financial returns from this investment.
We move to Burkina Faso, and the three Europeans, 2 Spanish and 1 Irish, were killed in an attack on an anti-poaching patrol in Burkina Faso. Burkina and Spanish officials confirmed the incident on Tuesday. Details follow.
3 foreigners and a member of the Burkina armed forces went missing on Monday after a morning attack on a convoy of security forces for strangers and expatriates. A senior security source in the West African nation said it is very unfortunate, but the 3 Westerners were executed by terrorists. Security sources said the attackers were aboard 2 pickup vehicles and a dozen motorbikes. The sources said the assailants made off with vehicles and various weapons after the attack. Spanish Foreign Minister Arantxa González Laya confirmed that 2 of the bodies found in Burkina Faso were those of the missing Spanish journalists. Foreign Minister González Laya told a press conference that the 2 Spaniards were from northern Spain and were working on a documentary on how Burkina Faso authorities were tackling poaching and on the communities of people living in the wildlife park. They were traveling at the time of the attack in a group with about 40 people. 2 soldiers wounded in the attack and evacuated to a military hospital in Ouagadougou earlier said they were attacked by fighters who outnumbered their 15-person patrol.
Well, dear viewers, that's all for today's edition of Africa Today. Thank you for watching.